Hello all, in this video we'll be talking about message transfer. Okay, so in our last video we have seen how the email system is created with the help of RFC 82, what are the formats, okay, and after that we will now see how it is being transferred. Alright, so that is our message transfer, and we'll see how from the receiver, from the sender actually, it goes to the receiver via the different protocols. Okay, via the different servers and with the help of the different protocols. So basically when you talk about transfer system, message transfer system is concerned with relaying messages, sending the messages from the originator to the recipient. And the most easiest way of doing that is, first of all, establish a connection, a transport connection from the source to the destination, and once that connection is properly established, we can transfer the message. Now let us see the protocol which is responsible for that. The name of the protocol is SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So this protocol will help us send our mail, the messages in the form of mail, from one machine to another. Okay, so it makes use of TCP connection with the help of port 25 to the destination machine. Okay, and it also in this port, this email daemon is there. It's like a process, or let's say program, that speaks SMTP, that understands this protocol. And this particular program accepts incoming connection. What are the connection that has to be established, and via the connection what are the messages? Okay, so that job is done by this email daemon. And and sometimes when the message cannot be properly delivered, then the reporting of the error also has to be done by this particular daemon to the sender. The sender has to know that the message was not sent properly. Okay, so SMTP is a simple ASCII protocol. It's a simple ASCII. And then again, coming back to the connection, after establish this connection to port 25, the sending machine, which is also called as the client machine, waits for the receiving machine. Okay, receiving machine operating as a server to talk first. Right, so the receiver has to respond, then only the actual transfer will take place. Then the server starts by sending a line of text giving its identity and telling whether it is prepared to receive mail or not. So immediately the transfer of the mail doesn't start. First of all, connection has to be established, and then not just established, it has to be tested also. Okay, so a line of text is sent and then checked whether the receiver is properly receiving it or not. Okay, if it is not, then sometimes it is found that that particular line has not reach the destination. So in that case, the client releases. That means the connection is not proper. So it releases, exits the connection, and after some time it tries again. Okay, and if the server is willing to accept email, the client announces whom the email is coming from and whom it is going to. So that has to be properly mentioned, that who is the sender and who is the receiver. Alright, and if such a recipient exists at the destination, if someone is waiting for the mail, the emails, then the server gives the client the go ahead and the sends the message. So server says that okay, the recipient is ready, the client can go in. Okay, so server is like a mediator. And I have this particular diagram. Okay, then we'll go to the diagram. Then it sends the message. Once the server gives the green signal between the client and the receiver, then it gives the message and the server acknowledges it. That means it has reached properly. And one more good thing about it is that no checksums, no error checking. If you remember, what is a checksum? Checksum is meant for error checking, whether the text is properly received or not, whether there has been any error or not. But here, because it is so reliable, byte stream, the byte stream that is sent, the mail that is sent is so reliable that we don't need to perform any checksums. Okay, and then if there is some pending email, some more pending email, then it is sent, because now the receiver and the client is ready to do the transfer. Now, to make it more simple, let us try, and all those steps that we have just seen is very nicely depicted in this particular diagram. So I want you all to please draw this diagram, okay, which is the summary of the steps that we have seen on the top. Okay, how the mail, the client and the server, they communicate and then do the message transfer system. Okay, so I want you all to write the note as well as draw this diagram. This diagram, if you check, I have not given in the note. Alright, so you draw this diagram, take a snapshot and draw the diagram properly, and it's just very, very important, and it will help you to remember the steps also. Okay, so let us begin how the client communicates or sends the transfer, the message to the server. Okay, so first of all, as we have discussed, directly they don't start sending the message. Okay, first of all they check the connection. Once the connection is properly established, then only they will send the actual message, the actual email. Okay, so first of all, the client wants to say that he has to send a message, send an email. So first of all, he will send a small line, or let's say a text. So here it is sending EHLO. So that goes, and the server, SMTP server, receives that. Okay, so he gets to know that, okay, this client is interested in sending some mail, so he responds appropriately. If he is free, then he responds appropriately, and then he gives out the message. Now here you see the port number is mentioned. All right, so here the client receives and sees, okay, identify the sender. So he knows, okay, the message has to be sent, so he identify the sender, to whom to send. And here the identify the sender, and here it has to go to the Alice. The name is also given. Bob has to send to Alice. So Alice and SMTP server is identified. Okay, so that once that server is identified, a message is given. Okay, that a mail has to come from this client. So see, mail from Bob. Okay, so all this before the actual transfer. So this message is sent. So see the direction of the arrow. Mail from, the signal is sent that mail has to go from Bob at the client's address. All right, then that the server receives it. This sender is okay, and then the sender says, okay, it's fine with me, I don't have any problem. So it sends back, okay, uses the same port, the message that it's okay with me, I'm willing to accept. So here that's signal is sent, and the fifth step is it identifies the recipient. Okay, it identifies, okay, that it has to go to the Alice server. Okay, now in that first it was finding the sender, now it is finding the recipient, who's the, so that is the next data that is sent. It's received to Alice at this. Okay, so first of all he's telling the server that the mail has to go from Bob, and after that communication it is telling you that it has to go to Alice. All right, so then the server receives, okay, the recipient is also, first of all he checked the sender, now he's checking the recipient. Okay, so he's okay, fine, no problem. Then with the port number again it sends the message. Then I am about to send you the email message ready. Now this signal is also sent, and this is like a small data, like it's checking the connection, whether the data can be sent or not. Okay, so that data goes to the server. Okay, so server, when receives it properly, says that I'm ready, and now you can send message and end with dot on a line by itself. So dot indicates the termination of line. Okay, so now a different port 354, that is to transfer the data as sent, that is utilized now. Okay, then here it starts sending the message one line at a time. Now this is where, see, at step 9 actually the message starts getting transferred. Before that, all these steps are actually the initiation of the connection. Okay, establishment, acknowledgement, all that. And when we reach step 9, that is when the actual transfer happens. That is, the message is sent line by line, okay, terminating with a dot. And then the server receives it, I accept the message. Now once the whole message is sent, then the connection has to be terminated. Now again port 250 utilized. All right, then the signal is sent off to terminate this session. Okay, so once that is received successfully, here it sends the quit signal, and here from this side also it closes the connection. And finally both of them agrees to quit, and then 2 to 1 the message is provided across and the connection is closed. Now this diagram, very important, please take the snapshot and draw it. It is the summary of all the steps that we have learned earlier. Okay, you will draw it, and I might ask you later to submit this diagram. Okay, so please draw it properly and go through. Okay, it will make you it will help you out to remember the different steps. Now next is we have seen the steps, okay, how the connection is established, how initially from step 1 to step 8 all the steps were in there to start only initiation, okay, before the actual message started. Okay, so here we'll look at how the session okay, the how the mail looks like, how the file is being transferred. Okay, so if you look here, you will see that this is the example of SMTP session. So first of all that is checking of the connection, sending the receiver, sending the sender, all that is done here. Okay, the message doesn't start initially. Okay, so first of all we have this port number. Okay, then what is the server, then what is that line of text to check the connection. All right, so that is mentioned here. So and then it is checking who is the recipient, where is the mail coming from, so all that, and whether it has been properly communicated across or not from the server to the client and from the client to the server sender. Okay, so this initial connection checking process is called initial handshake. Step 1 to step 8 in our diagram, that is called initial handshake. All right, so where connection is established, checked, okay, acknowledged, all that happens. And then once that is done, then we are coming to this header part. We have not yet reached the body of the message. First of all, if you remember in our email video, I had discussed about the envelope. Okay, the user agent sends the envelope. So here is the header. So after you're finished with this handshake data, then you have the envelope of the email, and finally the message body. So this is how the message is wrapped and how it is transferred. Okay, so initial connection message, then message header and message body. This is how the protocol transfers the message. So so that is how then there is final transfer takes place. But sometimes it may so happen that the receiver is not online. So what happens? So here let us see what happens when Eleanor wants to send Caroline email. Okay, Caroline is the receiver and Caroline is not online. So that was initially a problem. Okay, if you are not online, then how do you receive? What happens to the email? Does it go back? Okay, does it get disrupted, or what happens? Okay, so Eleanor cannot establish a TCP connection to Caroline and thus cannot run the SMTP protocol. So because Caroline is not online, so how does the connection establish? Okay, how does the protocol start and how does the transfer takes place? So then the solution came up. So this became a problem, and later solution came up, and solution came up with the help of another protocol called as our POP3. Okay, now why is this the solution? Because sometimes when the receiver is not online, then you can send the message to the ISP machine. Okay, so have a message transfer. So we are introducing a message transfer agent in a separate machine, ISP meaning Internet Service Provider machine. Okay, that machine accepts all the emails for its customers. Okay, so it doesn't go straight away to the customers. So even if the customer is not online, ISP will receive it, and later as and when customer will come online and look for the mailbox, then the ISP will send the email. So that problem was overcome with the introduction of this message transfer agent called ISP machine. Okay, so and since this agent can be on all the time, email can be sent any time of the day. Alright, so that was the problem, and with the help of POP3, this problem was overcome. Now this diagram also is very important, so I would like you to draw this diagram as well as the previous one. It is not there in your note. Okay, so what happens here? The mail, okay, SMTP, we have seen how it sends from one sender. Let us say this is the recipient and this is the sender. So okay, so it has to go across. With the help of SMTP protocol, we can send the message from one machine to another. But what happens when it is not, when the user is not online? So we introduce senders and receivers, ISP. Okay, and this ISP will make use of the POP3 protocol. Okay, POP3 protocol. And that POP3 will actually take the message here, okay, and put it, it's like a buffer. It takes all the message, buffer it in its server, and later sends it to the receiver whenever the receiver checks his email. Okay, so that is how a POP3 works. Okay, so another diagram I have here. Okay, this is another, this diagram is there in your book and it is there in the note. So it's the same thing here. The host sends, directly to the receiving host, sender to the receiver. And the problem existed when the receiver was not. Now what happens to the mail? Okay, what happens when the protocol doesn't get initiated? So that was a problem, and this particular problem is solved in the next diagram, B. So here what do you see? Same thing, sender and the receiver here also, but here we have introduction of this message transfer agent called the ISP. So instead of going directly to the receiver, it goes here and it buffers the message. Okay, and with the help of POP3, that is the basic job of POP3, from taking the message across from ISP to the user. Okay, now let us quickly see another. Now similar to your POP3, we have IMAP also. Now POP3 has limited functionality, whereas IMAP has added extended functionality. Otherwise the job is same. The job is same, meaning it does the transfer of the message from the ISP to the user's machine. Okay, now what is IMAP? Internet Message Access Protocol, and it assumes that all the email will remain on the server indefinitely in multiple mailbox. A server meaning that ISP server. Okay, but POP3 was the traditional one, the earlier one. So it assumes that the user, whenever it checks the mail, it will take all the mail, clear out the mailbox and every contact, and work offline. Okay, it is not always connected. It will check the mail and then come offline. So that is a little difference here between IMAP and POP3. And not just that, IMAP, as I told you, it has added functional extensive mechanism for reading message or even small parts of the message. Quickly we'll see this diagram. Now this diagram again, I've added this diagram. Now if you look here, I hope it is clear. Okay, this is your IMAP. So IMAP, same thing. It's from the server. The client can communicate. Client can talk to multiple server. Okay, and multiple clients can talk to the same account on the same server. More than one client can talk to the same account at the same time. So all you'll see added functionalities. Okay, and then client decides where to store messages, copy them locally or leave them on the server. So the client decides whether he keeps it in the server or he takes a copy in his PC. So it's up to him. He can do it later, access the mail that he has not taken. Okay, so he has that power, and the client also has more control or full control over their mail folders. Okay, can create, delete, purge or move them around even between different accounts. So all these added functionality. Whereas POP3 is a little limited. The job is same. It takes the message from the server, but then it is clients independently download email. So it is up to the client independently download, and once download, it is deleted from the, and that it cannot access the message again. Once you have downloaded, then it becomes it gets deleted from the server. So that added advantage is not there in case of POP3. Whereas in IMAP, you can see so many added functionality are there. Okay, so only the basic thing is same functions, but IMAP comes along with different extensions, let us say, or more power or more control. That's the difference between IMAP and POP3. Same thing, but different versions. IMAP is more advanced and POP3 is more basic. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Thank you very much, and please draw all these added diagrams. Thank you very much.